Hey, welcome back. Today we're diving into a story that's all about deep roots, profound loss, and honestly, the incredible resilience of memory. We're going to follow the thousand-year history of the Gwangsan Kim clan and their unbreakable bond to a land that is today completely beyond their reach.
Now, before we really jump in, I should mention that this story is a direct follow-up to our last explainer on the clan villages of Kwangdeok-myeon. You can absolutely follow along without it, but if you really want to get the full picture and feel the weight of this world we're about to explore, you might want to check that one out first. It'll make this journey even more powerful.
So, for generations, this place, Kwangdeok-myeon, was this vibrant tapestry of different communities. You can see just a handful of them here, the Andong Kwans, the Haeju Chois, and a few different Kim clans. Every single one had its own rich history. But today, we're zooming in on one specific thread in that tapestry, the Gwangsan Kim clan.
All right, so here's the game plan for today. First, we'll talk about the lost world of Kwangdeok-myeon. Then we'll trace the clan's ancient roots, see what life was actually like for them, and witness the moment their heritage was tragically interrupted. And finally, we'll see how they managed to keep their history alive from so far away.
So let's really set the stage here. We're talking about Kwangdeok-myeon. For centuries, this was the absolute heart of ancestral life for these families. But today, because of the division of Korea, it's a land that exists only in memory, a community that is literally beyond reach.
So, how in the world does a family story stretch across more than 1,000 years? Well, for the Gwangsan Kim clan, it all kicks off with a royal prince who decided to walk away from it all.
Okay, to really get this, we have to understand this key concept, Bongwon. This is so much more than just a hometown. Think of it as the geographic and spiritual starting point for an entire clan. So for the Kim clan, Gwangsan isn't just a place on a map. It is the very root of their identity, connecting every single member back to that one founding ancestor.
And this timeline just puts that epic journey into perspective. I mean, think about it. It starts all the way back in 839 AD. A Silla prince named Hyungwang Kim sees political trouble brewing, so he makes this life-altering choice to leave the capital. He ends up settling in a place that would one day be known as Gwangsan. You fast forward a few hundred years, and a key branch of his family, the DrJBHE faction, eventually finds their way to Kwangdeok-myeon and sets down the roots that would last for centuries.
So what was life really like there? I mean, this wasn't just some random collection of houses. This was a living, breathing center of heritage, of honor, and of a community that was built up over generations. This really gives us a little snapshot of their community. Their village was in a place called Socheongdong, right near an area famous for high-ranking officials. They even had a special filial piety gate built to honor one of their own, a 20th-generation descendant. That was a huge deal back then, a massive sign of respect. And, most importantly, their ancestral tombs, their physical link to their past, were right there, close by, so they could always be looked after.
And then, right in the middle of the 20th century, everything changed. The Korean War wasn't just about dividing a country. It was about severing countless families, just like the Gwangsan Kim, from their land, their history, and their ancestors.
You know, this number, 20, it might not sound like a lot, but it really shows you the human scale of this tragedy. About 20 families from this one community managed to escape south. They carried their heritage with them, sure, but they had to leave his physical heart behind. Every single one of those families represents an entire world that was just completely uprooted.
I mean, look at this. The contrast is just so stark. Before 1950, rituals happened on ancestral lands. Graves were tended to. The connection was physical. It was real. But after 1950, that connection was forced to become one of memory, of pure effort. Their ancestral graves were suddenly, tragically, just inaccessible, locked away behind a border.
So, what do you do when the physical center of your whole identity is just gone? Well, you get creative, you adapt, you find new ways to remember. This next part is all about the clan's incredible fight to keep their heritage alive against all odds.
So let's look at what they actually did. They set up new places for ancestral rites here in South Korea. They hold a really special ceremony, the Syeongjae in Paju, which is as close to the border as they can possibly get so they can look north and pay their respects. And they formed a group called the Hwasuhi to make sure that all the scattered clan members stay connected and unified.
And you know, a heritage like this is always saved by dedicated people. Folks like Young-Yoon Kim, Yang-Jung Kim, and In-Jung Kim took on this massive task of organizing their displaced community, publishing a historical record, and gathering all these materials so that this story would never, ever be lost. They really became the keepers of the flame.
This quote just perfectly captures the spirit of their entire struggle, doesn't it? The physical border might be impossible to cross, but the border of memory, of a shared identity, that one is wide open. Their roots really do run deeper than geography.
And that leaves us with this final, really powerful question. The story of the Gwangsan Kim clan isn't just about one family. It's this incredible testament to the human need to connect with our past. And it makes you wonder, right? What does it really take in our own lives, in our communities, to keep a memory alive when its physical home has vanished? Something to think about. Thanks for joining us.